career began really as a family home-raised business. Is that my father was an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur actually himself, and that was just sort of bred into my genetics, I guess. My father fell ill when I was very young, only 21 years old, and so my career path changed immediately. I'd finished University of British Columbia, and I was on my way to my master's at Cornell University in New York when he had the stroke. Unfortunately, he wasn't well ever again, and so I was immediately thrown into the business of taking over the entire hotel. So I grew up in the hotel business, literally. It's our 40th anniversary this year, and doing every single job in the hotel, and that's the best education I think that one can ever get. I really wanted to have my own business, though, is that I didn't want to just carry on in the family footsteps. And so when a bank lease space became available, I thought that it would be a great place for a spa, and this was approximately 12 years ago. And my father said, okay, 600 square feet is, and I'll charge you double the rent. And it was quite the negotiation, so what a fabulous lesson. And he was really tough. He wouldn't give me a business loan. You know, it was completely starting from scratch, just myself. And then 12 years later, you know, one of Canada's largest and most luxurious spa chains. Without question, my negotiation with my first landlord, my father, and he actually didn't want me to do the business. He wanted me to stay in the hotel business, concentrate on his business. And I really had to do something that was my own. I had to differentiate and just make myself distinct from the family. The first Absolute Spa was actually called Spa at the Century. It wasn't branded yet, and it was very successful, and little by little we expanded square footage wise and treatment wise. The spas to the hotel business in the 90s were sort of what the fitness facilities and gyms were to hotels in the 80s, and we were very fortunate that we saw this trend, and we were just actually a little bit ahead of the trend and started to set that trend for hotels in Vancouver and British Columbia. It's interesting nowadays because to be a 5-star hotel and hotel chain, you actually have to have a spa in your property. By having the first spa in our own facility gave me great experience, though, in negotiating the next item. And we got a call from the Fairmont Airport Hotel, beautiful hotel that was brand new built, and they left 3 large hotel suites, just the shell blank, and it was this beautiful space with these gorgeous windows looking out at the aircraft landing, and immediately you can envision where the hydrotherapy room and the pedicure lounge and the relaxation lounge for group parties was going to go. So we actually got to build from scratch again on our second spa, and then we thought, well, we can't call it Spa at the Century, it's in a Fairmont hotel, so that's where we came up with the name Absolute and branded it, and then it just really spun off from there. My family definitely is in my business because my fantastic business partner is my husband, my significant other. And so that's an interesting combination. People always say, how does that work? And I always make the joke that our offices are 1 floor from each other, and you need that little bit of space. But it's fantastic as a partnership. And it is very interesting because a lot of entrepreneurs actually work with their families or work with their significant others. And I think it's a fantastic match when you have completely diverse talents and skill sets. And even though you can do it all, is if you prefer and you enjoy one area more, such as I enjoy the marketing and the publicity and the fundraising and philanthropy and the policy work, the work with the government and the contacts, and my significant other, my business partner and partner in crime in life is that he loves the legal and the accounting side, and the operation on, especially the creative building side, is that he will never stop building. I have to always put the stops on him. I think that with core values, it's really something that you start with as a person, and I think that this is something that, coming from a serial entrepreneurial family, this is something that I was born and raised with, and that is, you know, basic integrity, great honesty and loyalty, as well as persistence. My mom and dad always taught me to be relentless. Is that set your goal, and it can be a dream, and you work as hard as you possibly can to achieve it, doing literally every single job yourself. And I think that that's one of my core values, is that when you have the empathy and understanding for people, what they're doing when they come to work every single day in a certain department, the challenges that they face, what that means for them in their day-to-day business. People always say to myself as an entrepreneur, what's the secret? Is why are your spas successful? Why are they marketed and publicized more than another spa chain? Why do the celebrities come to your spas? And there is no simple formula or pill, otherwise it would be pretty easy to be successful. It's actually just darn hard work. And I think that that's why it's really important to be very passionate and really love what you do, because you're going to be doing it for a long time. The hours and the days are long. There's some days that aren't as fun as others, for sure. And we spend more time in our businesses than we do with our families. So it's really important to make your atmosphere with everything from your physical facility to the people that you surround yourself to the outside activities that have to do with your business, that you make it something that you really, really love. It's very interesting to me that our businesses wound up being within the general field of helping others. And I think that if I could maybe do this again, I would have loved to have been a doctor or a veterinarian. But you know, in the hotel business, my dad and mom would always say to me, isn't this wonderful that you are coming to work and you're working and welcoming people that are on their holidays or traveling on business or coming to Vancouver for a first time, or even our hotel is located right beside St. Paul's Hospital. People are coming to the hospital so that you can make a difference in their life, and you can make a difference in their stay, their visit, the reason that they're there. And of course that can be a very stressful time for people. So it's really fantastic, make a difference. I think that one thing that makes a great leader is being positive, and meaning that you need to be realistic, but be very solution orientated. So I really do see everything as the cup is half full. Well, without question, my mentor is Peter Legge, and I just think that he is a phenomenal leader. So one of the things that my mentor, Peter Legge, taught me was to have balance. He said, you always have to have your household in order, you have to have your health of yourself and your family, you have to make sure that everybody is taken care of and everything is functioning well, because if you don't have, you know, your family, the most important thing to you in your world, in order, and your health, then you can't go on to the next item. Regarding the industry association, the most fabulous thing I ever did in my business career was get extremely active in the Vancouver Board of Trade. And I am completely not a committee person, as I can't stand meetings where nothing gets done. Again, I think it's common for entrepreneurs needing to have that solution, you know, and you're walking out the door with actual steps to report back on the results that are done. But the Vancouver Board of Trade is that type of organization. The mistake that I made many times throughout my career is that you get cocooned into your office, and it's so easy to be shuffling paperwork and holding meetings within your own organization, and you forget that this wonderful big world is out there, that the relationships are very important. Well, without question, I focus my relationship building with the Vancouver Board of Trade, and it's an organization made up of tremendous people. And the reason that I also really like the Vancouver Board of Trade is that it has 16 committees that deal with everything from homelessness to international trade to economic development. And it looks at all of the different issues, not only from an economic standpoint, but also from a social aspect. I think one of the most important things about being in business is that you are very cautious and that you can be a risk taker, but you have to be a realistic risk taker. Always have to prepare in a positive way for the worst case scenario, because then if it does happen, you and your team members will be fine. You won't have to be laying off, you know, half your team members. They won't be going home and telling their families, you know, I don't know how we're going to eat, I don't know how we're going to pay our mortgage, I don't know how we're going to pay our rent. And that way, it's going to be okay. It's a time that you change your business tactics and you do business differently. You're more cautious in terms of how you're doing your marketing, and again, it's back to the old adages, I can't work any harder, I can't work any longer, I have to work smarter. Interesting enough though, when we opened up the Fairmont Airport Spa, it was 9/11. 9/11 occurred just after we opened, and I was traveling on some hotel business, and I was in the Seattle SeaTac Airport, and I saw some massage chairs, and they were just plain massage chairs, very plastic atmosphere. There wasn't anything else around it, and I thought, wouldn't that be fantastic at our beautiful Vancouver International Airport if we had a beautiful little spa there rather than just a massage chair plunked down, and actually make it very luxurious and a real experience as you walk by. And so I phoned the president of the airport, Larry Berg, and I was all proud of my great creative, you know, very intuitive idea, and he said, Wendy, step ahead of you, the RFP should be in the mail. And so we were very lucky to win that bid, again back to the basic negotiating skills, and then off we went with our absolute spas at YVR, and then one spa by another, we got up to 11 spas. Regarding social media, it's completely the way you have to market nowadays. I think it's really important too, for example, if you're going to be looking for team members, what's the demographic of team member that you're going to be reaching out to? So if you're wanting to hire somebody that's approximately between 20 and 30, is that they're probably going to be looking online for that advertisement. Attraction of our spas to the celebrity clientele, Hollywood North, that our spas have found. So we've been very fortunate that we've worked with a lot of fantastic different celebrities, and they're very happy to sign quotes and sign photographs that they like up on our wall of fame, and they see it, and that is hundreds up there now at this point in time. Regarding the startup of our businesses and finances, we've been very fortunate to have fantastic bank partners from day one, and they've been really helpful at coaching us along the way on what are the different ways to set up a business. Really believe in what we sell, and I think that sales and selling is often seen as a negative connotation, and I think that it's a great word and a great concept. If you really truly believe in what you are selling, then it's not a problem to sell it. You're actually not selling, you're informing. Without question, I had to learn how to become a sales advocate or learn how to pitch things. And at the first, you know, when I was very young in my 20s, it was incredibly intimidating, very difficult. But one of my favorite quotes from Peter Legge, my mentor, is actually, people will forget what you say and people will forget what you do, but people will never forget the way that you make them feel. And when you're informing people, educating people, helping people, caring for people, you're making them feel good. I don't know if I can restrict it just to my second wish business, but without question, I would want to open up a luxury hotel in Hawaii, and I think that would just be spectacular. Then also I would love to have a second business in the film industry, or just even volunteer in the film industry. I have a budding film director in my spectacular daughter, and so it's something that I'm very determined to see stay in British Columbia. And we had one of the most fantastic celebrities that we've ever worked with, and that was Elle Macpherson. And she would often phone me and say, hey Wendy, where would be the best place to buy a raincoat today? Or do you know of a good dentist? I think I need to visit a dentist. And she has the most wonderful, thick Australian accent, which I can't do justice to. But she phoned me one day on my cell phone, and my husband answered it because I was in the back getting my daughter dressed for a ballet recital. She was just a little thing. And in this thick accent, she says, is Wendy there, please? No, she's busy. Well, I need to speak with her right now. Well, you can't. Is that she's tied up. Well, it's Elle Macpherson. I need to go bathing suit shopping. And I'm thinking, how many times would I want to go bathing suit shopping with Elle Macpherson? What else can make me feel really bad about myself and my body image? So my husband didn't know that I was working with her and that she was visiting the spas. And so he said, well, Elle, it's really nice to speak with you. I'm George Clooney, and I have to go now. And he hung up on her. And so when I came back, he said, oh, you got this really funny prank call. I think it's your friend Joanne. And I said, no, Serge, that's really Elle McPherson. And his very dark Italian complexion went quite ashen. Growing up, we were born and raised with philanthropy, as my family was always a big part of the Variety Club. And one of my funniest moments in my business career is when my father wasn't well, and so I was receiving his invitations, and I got invited to a hospitality golf tournament. And so I phoned up to register. It was a tourism industry golf tournament. And they said, oh, I'm sorry you can't play. And I said, well, I know I'm not a golfer, but you know, I'd really like to be a part of this industry and representing my father and my family. They said, well, you can't play. You're a woman. I'm on the end of the phone thinking, you're kidding. But I did think it was very funny. This was 25 years ago. And while it was funny, it really wasn't. And I thought that something should be done about this, but in a very positive way. And so I harassed about 12, 15 of my media lady business friends, and we went off and felt like we were sort of playing hooky for the day. And I thought the second year when we did this, we didn't do it as a fundraiser the first year. As the second year, we had 65 ladies overnight that wanted to play with us. And I thought this would be a great opportunity. I was actually signing the dairy check to our supplier, and it was a lot of money. And I was saying, this is a lot of eggs that we're buying. He should be doing something for charity here. And I started to look at all the suppliers that we had in the hotel and thinking, you know, they're wanting us to continue to buy their eggs. Is that I would like them to support, you know, some charity work that we would be interested in. I think what I tell young people these days when they ask me about philanthropy, I tell them to do two areas if they can. I tell them to do one within their industry and then one within their passion of an area. If they have had somebody in their life with breast cancer, if they have a passion like we do for special needs children in British Columbia. If I had seen this interview 20 years earlier, I would never have believed. You know, I think that we have 12 spas to this day in an international distribution product line. I think that it really stays true to your core values on be persistent and to really work hard at your dreams. You know, we have a fantastic, 20 years ago, three-star hotel. Now it's a 4-star hotel. People said to me, I wanted to build a 5-star spa. If I was going to do a spa, it had to be 5-star. And they said, celebrities, movie stars will never walk through those doors. I don't know why you're building it that way, investing that much money. I don't know why you're bringing in those expensive product lines. People are just not going to walk through the doors of the Century Plaza and go to a 5-star spa. And I thought, I'm going to prove you wrong. And then you kind of think after you say that in your own head, I don't know how, and I don't know why I feel so compelled to do that, but I think it's because you told me I can't do it, that now I have to do it. And I think that was one of the things that I was so excited about attracting so much of Hollywood North's talent to visit us, and was simply just because our team members and our products and our services were that good, were world-class quality so many years ago. But it was a very compelling moment early on for me that I was really hoping I was going to be right. Mm-hmm.